Joining me now for more Lefties Losing It content is comedian, host of Primetime with Alex Stein on Blaze TV. Alex, what did you make of the Trump rally today at Madison Square Garden? It had everything. It had Dr. Phil, Elon Musk, Melania spoke. And I've got to say, Trump was in superb form and he took the opportunity to announce a brand new policy during his speech. Let's have a listen.
I'm announcing a new policy today that I will support a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one. It's about time that they were recognized, right? They add so much to our country and are never spoken of, ever, but they're going to be spoken of now. Thank you all very much.
It's a fantastic policy, Alex. It's about family, keeping families together. It's about supporting those who support their loved ones.
Oh, it's a great policy. And, this rally was great, but my favorite part was seeing AOC and Tim Walsh react to Tony Hinchcliffe's jokes about Puerto Rico. So I just love that Donald's keeping his edge. He's staying edgy, having this rally at Madison Square Garden that they're calling a Nazi rally. It's absolutely disgusting that they label it that. But I think that this was a very monumental and powerful event. And it was awesome to watch it on Twitter and X, excuse me.
Some absolutely disgusting commentary from Walls Down about comparing this to a Nazi rally. I personally know a number of Jewish New Yorkers who were there, and they would be absolutely disgusted by that sort of talk. Now, Tucker Carlson, your biological stepdad, also took to the stage, and he had this to say.
They spent 10 years telling you Trump is a hater. Do you feel that on him? No, you don't. Because it's not there. I've spent a lot of time with Trump. And there's not one moment I've ever been with him off camera where he's spending his time grousing about people he hates. Ever. He's talking about the people and the country he loves in his private time. Trust me. And people know in a country that has been taken over by a leadership class that actually despises them and their values and their history and their culture and their customs, really hates them to the point that it's trying to replace them. They know someone who actually has affection for them, and that's Donald Trump.
And he's so right. It's basically what we just talked about. They're showing their disdain for these people, their hate of ordinary Americans by comparing this rally to a Nazi rally. And you mentioned comic Tony Hinchcliffe. He joked about that.
The other side's got a lot of crazy endorsements. Swift, Eminem, Leo DiCaprio, Beyonce. Every day the Democratic Party looks more and more like a P. Diddy party. Hillary Clinton said that this is a Nazi rally here today. Can you believe that? For the most anti-war president of my entire lifetime, and she calls him Hitler. Let me remind you, Hillary, it was your husband who shot innocent people, or as he called them, interns. Yeah, Hillary, I bet you did not see that one coming. By the way, if I commit in 3 weeks, I didn't.
I love that Arkansas joke at the end there. This is something Joe Rogan spoke about with Donald Trump, that it's the right now, it's the Republicans, the conservatives who are the rebels. They're the cool kids. The conformists are all on the left.
No, you're exactly right. And, you saw that first clip of the Joe Rogan and Donald Trump podcast was Joe talking about how everybody on The View used to love Donald Trump and every celebrity loved Donald Trump. He had the #1 show, The Apprentice, that was on NBC. So it's all fake that they now hate him. It's absolutely ridiculous. So Tony Hinchcliffe killed it. These celebrities that showed up, my biological stepfather, Tucker Carlson. I mean, I really hope that this actually does have an effect, because I think if they're playing fair, Rita, America is on Donald Trump's side.
Well, you were at the Harris-Walls campaign launch, which was huge. It wasn't a launch, sorry. It was a rally in Houston. The numbers there were enormous. I heard 30,000 people showed up. But were they there to see Kamala? Were they there to see Beyonce? You posted this video.
The Kamala Harris rally in Houston, Texas was absolutely insane. You saw Beyonce and Kelly Rowland walked out. Kelly looked like Beetlejuice. And then after that, Kamala walks out, right? She gives him the hug, and everybody's so mad because they're like, what? Beyonce only spoke for 3 minutes? I thought we were going to get a free concert. Wait, what? What's going on? Wait, why is she hugging Kamala? I thought this was a concert. Oh, and then Kelly and Beyonce have a nice little moment, reminiscing. And then everybody realizes it was a bait and switch, and they walked their butts out. As soon as Kamala got on that dang stage, everybody was off, rightfully so. They duped us. They duped the entire city of Houston, Texas. 30,000 off people right before an election less than 2 weeks away. What is Kamala Harris thinking? It was a night to forget, I'll tell you that much.
These are desperate tactics, Alex. Tell me about the mood at the rally. Some people had lined up for hours to get into the venue. But again, was that to see Harris, or were they expecting a free Beyonce concert?
100%. Everybody was under the impression that Beyonce was going to do some sort of performance. And people were literally lining up since 3 p.m. in the Texas heat, just queuing all day until they finally opened the gates around 5 p.m. And then it took them a long time to check everybody in. And what was so sad is not only did you see a lot of African Americans, a lot of LGBTQ people, but you saw a lot of children that were so excited to see Beyonce. I mean, these kids are like, oh, I've never been to a Beyonce concert. People with their daughters, their cousins, and these kids, when they realized that Beyonce was not performing, you could just see the devastation on their face. The Kamala Harris campaign should be absolutely embarrassed that they would even do this sort of bait and switch operation and just ruin all of the good vibrational energy that they created when the event started, for it to just be a massive letdown. The energy was absolute, like I've never seen anything. Like your team lost the Super Bowl is how I would describe it, Rita. Everybody was very sad.
And let's have a look at some of the scenes outside. Not much joy here. Look at this Democrat, Kamala fan, screaming at a toddler in a stroller. What is going on there? People seem to be completely losing their minds.
People were literally losing their minds. And you notice in that video is another kid getting attacked. Like, these poor children, those are the ones that, even though it was the most boring rally, I wanted to walk out. I mean, it was it just went droned on and on and on. I still felt bad for these poor kids being subjected to this. It was like some sort of cruel, unusual punishment is how I would describe this rally.
We've got the celebrities continuing to come out to support Kamala. You mentioned Beyonce and Kelly Rowland at that rally. We've had Leonardo DiCaprio do a bit of a rant about climate change. Do you think any of that's going to have an impact?
I mean, I do a little bit, but I would say that a lot of the people at that rally aren't even going to vote. At least of the 30,000 people that were at the Houston stadium, I would say probably a third of them are actually going to go vote. So I don't know. People in Pennsylvania, they need to go vote for Donald Trump because Donald Trump wants to actually, start fracking and make some money. So I don't know, Rita. I'm nervous. The people are behind Donald Trump. The energy compared to New York City and Houston, trust me, it looked a lot better and more organized in New York City. So I think the country is on Donald Trump's side. But if they can, pull some funny business somewhere, somehow fortify it, you just never know. It's going to be a tight race.
Well, you would hope it would. The margin would be too big to fortify, as we like to call it. Now, sticking with celebrities going on rants, the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, the basketball team, Greg Popovich, has launched into a anti-Trump rant that's been described as deranged. It went on for some time. This is during a pre-game press conference. Let's just have a listen to a little bit of it.
So he's pathetic. He's small. He's a whiner. We all know that. But you wouldn't have him babysit your kids. You wouldn't hire him if you had a small business. You want that man in your business? There's no way. But we're going to vote for him for president?
I'd be quite happy for him to babysit my kids. What do you make of that? And why do they continue to do this? He coaches San Antonio Spurs. They're a Texas team. Do they not have any fear of alienating the majority of their fans?
Well, Greg Popovich has won so many championships that I don't think he's worried about his job security. And it's weird that Greg Popovich, one of the top NBA coaches, and Steve Kerr, one of the top NBA coaches, are so woke and just constantly lecturing their audience, their press conferences. When it has to do with basketball, they're always, when it's a basketball press conference, they want to talk and inject their politics. And they just have Trump derangement syndrome so badly. You would think that these multimillionaires, Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich, would respect somebody like Donald Trump. They might give them tax breaks, but I don't know. They all like to virtue signal, I guess, and they have a lot of guilt, and it stinks because he's such a great coach. Rita, Greg Popovich is really respected in the state of Texas.
Well, I'm not talking about him losing his job, obviously, but surely he must know that he's alienating, or at the very least upsetting, a significant portion of his fans, the fans of the Spurs. And why would you do that? Why would you go on these mad rants? What is the purpose? It's bewildering to me why there's just so little respect for what their fans think. You know, vote how you want, but don't lecture people and go on these. Really, he didn't say anything constructive there. It was just hate. Before you go, I just want to play you a little clip of Kamala Harris being heckled at a rally in Michigan. What's interesting about it is just how poorly she handled it. Have a look.
To turn the page on the fear
She looked frightened there. She was looking off stage, I don't know, looking for advice. I'm just shocked that she handled something so routine so poorly.
She's too fragile to handle that situation, and Kamala Harris is too fragile to be vice president of the United States, or even president for that matter, if she wins somehow. So she's just a snowflake, like everybody else in their party.
Alex Stein, thanks for your time tonight.